Dear students, today we start lesson number 7, thermodynamics. So this is an important lesson in physical chemistry. Thermo represents heat, dynamics represents flow or movement. So the lesson thermodynamics deals with flow of heat or movement of heat. So in our lower classes we studied different types of energy like solar energy, wind energy, chemical energy, heat energy, electrical energy. So different forms of energy we have studied. So in thermodynamics we deal with interchange of energies, especially heat energy is converted into other forms or heat can be converted into work. So thermodynamics deals with interconversion of energies as well as conversion of energy into mechanical work. In thermodynamics we have three basics law. First law, it says energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So we cannot create energy as well as we cannot destroy the energy. One form of energy can be converted into other forms of energy. So this is first law. When you take second law, this also deals with interconversion of energies. It says when energy is converted into mechanical work, you cannot achieve 100% efficiency. At a normal situation, 100% efficiency cannot be achieved. So this is second law of thermodynamics. In second law of thermodynamics, we introduce some terms like enthalpy, entropy and free energy. So these thermodynamic data are very important. With the help of these data, we are going to find the feasibility of the process. Okay. And we have third law of thermodynamics. Third law deals with the calculation of entropy and unattainment of absolute 0 Kelvin. For substance, absolute 0 Kelvin temperature cannot be attained. So all these will be discussed in thermodynamics. We will study one by one later. Okay. So thermodynamics deals with flow of heat, the movement of heat. So in a physical as well as chemical transformations, it always accompanied with heat changes. Right? Either the process can absorb heat energy or it can liberate heat energy. It may be an endothermic or exothermic process. So movement of heat or flow of heat is always possible for a process. So thermodynamics deals with the flow of heat, interconversion of energies, conversion of heat energy into mechanical work. All these are discussed here. When you take a steam engine, so when you consider the old steam engine, which is based on the conversion of heat energy into mechanical work, the train is moving with the help of a steam engine. So the chemical energy is converted into heat energy is converted into mechanical work. So energies are interconvertible and energy can be converted into mechanical work. So this will be discussed in thermodynamics. The major application of thermodynamics is finding the feasibility . So for a process, we can find feasibility. It is nothing but possibility. Okay. So we can find whether the reaction is feasible or not. To find the feasibility of a reaction, we need thermodynamics data. For example, enthalpy changes, entropy changes, then free energy changes. With the help of the values of these functions, we can find the feasibility of the process. So the application of chemical kinetics is finding the rate of the reaction. The application of thermodynamics, finding the feasibility of the process. And its drawback is what? It predicts whether reaction takes place or not. It will not predict how fast the reaction takes place. So rate of reaction will be determined only by chemical kinetics, but feasibility of the process will be determined by thermodynamics. So in the introduction part, in our book, they have given what is what is dynamics. Thermodynamics deals with what? Then the application of thermodynamics is to find the feasibility of the process. For that, we need a data, thermodynamics data. So we will study three basic laws of thermodynamics. First law deals with the interconversion of energies. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. One form of energy will be converted into another form of energy. So enthalpy, entropy, and free energy. These terms are introduced in second law of thermodynamics. It says 100% efficiency cannot be achieved at normal conditions. Third law deals with unattainment of absolute 0 Kelvin for a substance, and it deals with the calculation of entropy. So all these are given in the introduction part. Next, before studying the first law of thermodynamics, we are going to study what are the terms used in thermodynamics. First one, system. So in thermodynamics, three basic terms will be used: system, surrounding, and boundary. So system is nothing but anything in the universe which is under study. So when we study a particular substance, it is called a system. For example, I am going to observe heat changes in this chalk piece. If I heat the chalk piece, how much heat changes observed? Either it can absorb heat energy or it can liberate. The heat changes can be observed for this chalk piece. So it is considered as a system. So I am going to study the heat changes in this chalk piece. It is considered as a system. Anything in the universe which is under study or which is under thermodynamic considerations is called a system. Surrounding. Except the system in the universe, remaining things are surrounding. If this is the system, except this remaining all the things in the universe is called a surrounding. Right? So in the universe, the substance which is under study is called a system, except the system remaining things in the universe is called a surrounding. And these two will be separated by a boundary. So anything which separates system and the surrounding in the universe is called a boundary. It may be a real one or it may be an imaginary one. Okay, so these are the basic terms we used in thermodynamics: system, surrounding, as well as boundary. Then we can classify the system based on physical state of components. A system may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. So a system may be a homogeneous system. Consider atmospheric air. Atmospheric air is an example of homogeneous system. So in the air, we have many components like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, noble gases, and so on. So all the components of this atmospheric air is in the same physical state. We cannot distinguish the components. So this is nitrogen gas, this is oxygen gas. By using our naked eye, we cannot distinguish the components. So if all the components of the system are in the same physical state, we can call this as a homogeneous system. The components are distributed uniformly. Atmospheric air is an example of homogeneous system. You can take alcohol in water or sodium chloride salt in water. Any example can be considered. Another one is heterogeneous. Take oil in water. Add some quantity of oil in water. how much layers will be formed? There will be 2 layers. So these two are immiscible liquids. Alcohol and water, both are miscible liquids. So we get a homogeneous system or a homogeneous mixture called a solution. When oil and water are mixed, we will not get homogeneous. We will get 2 layers, aqueous layer and oil layer. These two are immiscible liquids. So we can easily distinguish the components. The components can be easily identified. So it is called a heterogeneous system. Right? System is classified into homogeneous and heterogeneous based on the physical state of components. Next one, based on the boundary. A system is of 3 types based on the boundary which separates system and the surrounding. It may be an isolated system. The system may be an isolated system. You consider hot water. The temperature is around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. Now the hot water is taken in a thermos flask. The example is hot water in thermos flask. Even in our home, we use flask. Right. So what is the principle of flask? It retains the temperature for a longer period. If the temperature of the hot water is 80 degrees Celsius, the same temperature should be maintained for a longer period, like 5 hours or 6 hours, even 24 hours also. So that we use flask. So we have taken hot water in a thermos flask. Now it is in the sealed position. Will you observe any exchange of energy and matter? No. Once the flask is in a sealed position, exchange of matter is prevented. We cannot take hot water from the flask, as well as we cannot add hot water into the flask. It is in a sealed position. So exchange of matter is prevented. And what about exchange of heat? It is also not possible because this is an insulator. It will not conduct heat as well as especially heat. Okay. So it is not a conductor, it is an insulator. Heat energy cannot be conducted. So exchange of heat is also prevented. So isolated system is a system in which exchange of matter and energy is not possible. Example, hot water in thermos flask. So the system is called isolated system. Next one, closed system. Now we take hot water in silver vessel. Now the vessel is in a sealed position. Okay. So the hot water with the temperature 80 degrees Celsius is kept in a silver vessel. Now it is completely sealed. Exchange of matter is not possible. Once it is sealed, water cannot be taken out, as well as water cannot be poured into that. What about heat energy? Yes, so definitely there will be an exchange of heat energy, because silver is a conductor. It conducts electricity as well as heat. So hot water taken in silver vessel in a sealed position will involve in the exchange of heat energy. Always heat flow from higher temperature region into the lower temperature region. In the silver vessel, the temperature is around 80 degrees Celsius. Outside of the vessel, room temperature 25 degrees Celsius. So heat flows from silver vessel into the outside. So exchange of matter is not possible. At the same time, exchange of energy is possible. So this is called a closed system. Next one, open system. Now we take hot water in open silver vessel. We take the same hot water in a silver vessel. Now it is not in a sealed position. Now it is in the opened position. Here exchange of heat as well as exchange of matter is possible. We can take hot water from the vessel, as well as we can pour some more quantity of hot water into the vessel. Exchange of matter is possible, and it is a conductor, so exchange of energy is also possible. So this is an open system. So based on the nature of boundary, we classify the system into isolated system, closed system, as well as open system. So we revise one more time. The thermodynamics lesson is an important one. With the help of thermodynamic data, we have to predict feasibility of the process. Okay. So thermodynamics deals with flow of heat or heat changes, simply heat changes during a physical process or chemical process. How much heat energy is absorbed, or how much heat energy is liberated, or how much heat energy is converted into other forms of energy or work. All these will be discussed in this. The major application of this is feasibility of the process. We can find feasibility of the process. For that, we need thermodynamic data. Enthalpy change, entropy change, free energy change. For a process, if free energy change is a negative value, then it will be a feasible process. So thermodynamics predicts feasibility of the process with the help of terms like enthalpy, entropy, as well as free energy. But the disadvantage is it will not predict the rate of the reaction, how fast the reaction is taking place. It cannot be predicted, and it has major applications in the equilibrium also. So once the reaction started, the reversible process will reach equilibrium. So with the help of thermodynamics, we can explain the equilibrium also. So many terms are used in thermodynamics. The three important terms are system, surrounding, as well as boundary. System is nothing but anything in the universe which is under thermodynamic considerations. Except the system, remaining things in the universe, the surrounding, and anything which separates a system from the surrounding is called the boundary. It may be a real one or imaginary one. Then classification of system, it may be a homogeneous or it may be a heterogeneous one. This is based on the physical state of components. If the components are having same physical state, it is a homogeneous system. If the components are in different phases or physical state, it is heterogeneous. Then based on the nature of boundary, the system may be an isolated in which exchange of matter and energy is prevented. The system may be a closed system. Exchange of matter is not possible, but exchange of energy is possible. Open system. Exchange of energy and matter is possible. So these are the types of system. And important one mark, all living beings. Take all living beings are open system, as well as chemical reactions. So living beings and chemical reactions are examples of open system, right? So with this we conclude today. Tomorrow we start properties of system, as well as intensive properties, extensive properties, and different types of thermodynamics process. All these can be discussed tomorrow. Thank you.